Hey, cheers, everybody. Welcome back to Good Bets, Good Times. This is the football betting show built for all of my fellow DGens and weekend warriors who want to win a little more, lose a little less, and have a good damn time along the way. I am Nate Tuttle of MT Sports. Thank you once again for stopping by. Today's episode, sadly, folks, this is our last college football preview episode. And this is one for all the sickos out there. We're talking G6 football today, folks. We're talking 6 conferences, 69 teams. Got 8 bets locked and loaded. A few leans we might jump on. We got a week and a half still before the kickoff of week 0. 2 weeks. And we'll walk through our projected winners for each conference. Some we've bet, some we haven't. Top 3 contenders to make the college football playoff. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to this one all summer. We're so close to college football kicking off week 0. So, folks, buckle up. This may be a long one. But first, before we dive in, if you are watching along on YouTube and you're digging the show, feel free to give us a like, comment, subscribe, catch all the new episodes as they drop. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, follow, rating, and a review would also be greatly appreciated. So without further ado, grab your favorite beverage, kick back, and let's talk some ball.
I love guys who like football. And guys who like football, they like me back, and I like them back.
Okay, we're going to start off with the American Conference. Why not? Got 2 bets in the American that we'll get to here in a second, but let's do a quick rundown of the conference championship odds today. The favorite at most books, Navy, anywhere from plus 350 up to plus 470. UTSA around plus 450. Memphis plus 550. Tulane 650 up to 850. Army, South Florida, East Carolina, FAU, Tulsa, North Texas. We'll talk about Temple, Rice, UAB, and then poor Charlotte. 250 to 1. Their win total is at 2.5. Can they win 3 games this year? Oh, we will see. But what do we got locked and loaded so far in the American Conference? We'll start off with the Navy midshipmen. And I hate to do this. Navy, I think everybody has to have a service academy team, right? There's got to be one that you root for. I love all 3, not going to lie. Always rooting for them to win when they're playing other teams outside of the other service academies. But when it comes down to it, Navy's my team. Both my grandfathers were in the Navy. So I always pull for Navy. But this year, coming off a 11-win season, historic season for Navy, I'm taking the under here. The line at most books is around 7.5. I did find an 8.5, and I bet this priced at minus 158. So little expensive, but to me, I got Navy at 7.3 wins. So depending on what price you get for the 7.5, I think there might be some plus money out there at the 7.5. Still not a terrible bet. I like the 8.5. I want that extra cushion there. I think the ceiling could be 8 wins. So going to take the higher priced 8.5. And look, they're going to be a good team once again this year. Brian Newberry is entering his 4th season, 26-12. I mentioned they did go 11-2 last year. Got a big Liberty Bowl win against Cincinnati. And of course, we want the service academies in bowl games. That's going to be a bet we're going to make every single time. They show up, they play every game they play, but for sure they're not going to opt out of any bowl games. They got to replace a lot, though. Blake Horvath's legend at Navy. He's gone. They lost Eli Heidenreich. He's a Steeler now. Actually, just watching the Steelers preseason game a little bit ago. Going to turn that back on. See if Eli gets some run there. Also lost their leading rusher, Alec Tetska. And, so lost their QB, running back, slot back, and only returning 33% returning production on offense this year. So they do bring back Braxton Woodson, senior veteran, has played in a few games over the past 3 seasons, backing up Blake Horvath. So he's going to be solid. And look, I'm not completely out on Navy. It's just at this number, I do see some regression coming down from the 11 wins, most likely falling in that 7 to 8 win range. They were 5-0 in one-score game last year, which that's a service academy. They lost the American Conference Defensive Player of the Year, Landon Robinson, and D lineman Julian Motom. But do return 61% returning production on defense as well. So they do have some experience and depth on the defensive side of the ball. And let's look at the schedule as well. So 3 of the first 4 are on the road. All American Conference games. And they got to go to Air Force as well. They got Tulsa at home. They got to go play the Roadrunners out at the Alamo Dome. Got a neutral site game against Notre Dame on Halloween. Temple at home. Got a bye. Got Memphis coming to town. Go to Charlotte. Then obviously last game of the season at Army. So not the best schedule. I mean, the non-con, obviously Air Force, Notre Dame, and some teams in the American that I think are going to be much improved this year. We got Tulsa, like Memphis and Charles Huff. UTSA having to go to the Alamo Dome. That's never easy. Should take care of business against Charlotte. Temple gave them a game last year. They come into town. So yeah, love Navy. Hate doing this, but 8.5 for me was too good to pass up, even at the high price. We're also in North Texas under. So this is one you could have got if you bet really early. You could have got a decent priced 6.5. It's well over minus 200 at this point in most books, so I'd stay away from that. But I got the plus 5.5 at plus 120 a few months back, so I still got a decent plus number. And this comes down to this isn't a bowl team this year. Another team who had an historic year, 11-1 in the regular season, 12-2 overall. They got crushed by USF by 27, then they lost by double digits to Tulane in the American Championship game. And they beat the shit out of everybody else they played throughout the rest of the year. A couple overtime wins earlier in the year. And they lost pretty much their entire team, along with head coach Eric Morris, over at Oklahoma State. Everyone knows this. We talked about this in the Big 12 preview. Drew Mestermaker gone, top running backs, top receivers, defensive guys, some O-linemen. So head coach Neil Brown comes in, probably recognize that name, former West Virginia coach, former Troy coach. Success at both stops. But he comes into town back in the P6, and hey, he'll be too great at North Texas. I think the future is bright this team, but as much turnover as you have in one season, it's tough to come back from. He brought in 51 transfers. They only brought back one player who actually played more than 200 snaps last year as their defensive tackle, Terrell Washington. Last in the American Conference in returning production, 32% returning production. And then the schedule doesn't do him any favors. Non-con, they got to start. So Neil Brown starts his era at North Texas. He's got to go to the defending national champion, Indiana Hoosiers, week 1. Start the season off. That's not fun. You don't want to do that. And then you have UNLV up next. Got them at home at least, but still. UNLV's a top playoff contender in the G6. And they go on the road to Texas State. Got to go play Brad Jackson and then a high-powered offense. That's also not going to be fun. That's 0-3 right there. Houston Christian, okay, we'll give them that one. FCS, Houston Christian. And they go to at Tulsa. We talked about we like Tulsa. Do get Navy at home. Navy should take care of business there. UTSA and Tulane. Those are all road games, by the way. And then at home, they got Charlotte, FAU, Rice, and UAB. So probably 2, maybe 3 of those. Rice is never easy, especially for a lot of folks. A lot of new players coming into this team. FAU is going to be much improved. I like FAU this year to be a bowl team. UAB, new coach, Charlotte. Okay. So, I mean, I see maybe 3 games that I'm confident that this team could win. And then where's the other 2 coming from? They're going to go on the road and beat Tulsa, Navy, UTSA, or Tulane? Probably not. Can they beat FAU at home? Maybe. Can they beat Rice at home? Maybe. That's still only 5. So 5.5. This is plus money too. I love this bet. It's a huge drop off. It's this is the new era of college football, folks. You go from an 11-win team the following year, and you're betting them to basically regress by 6+ games down to 5 wins or less. That's crazy. So it's the nil era. It's the transfer portal era. It is what it is. But we're on North Texas under 5.5. Cool. And then last but not least, who do I have coming out of this? Who I think is going to win the American this year? So I got a couple teams and then a potential long shot who I think can make a run. So we talked about Navy. I have them under the 7.5 win total. Could they win 8 games and still get into the conference championship? Possibly. They lose to Air Force. They lose to Notre Dame, 2 out of conference games there. And take care of business in most of their games. Go, 6-2 in conference or so. So Navy can make it. I do like UTSA. I was a year early. I picked UTSA as my long shot to win this conference and potentially make the playoff last year. I think it was a year too early. I think they're going to be improved. Owen McCown coming back. Jeff Traylor consistently putting out winning football teams. So I do like UTSA. They're going to be my pick to win this conference. But look out for Memphis. Charles Huff, you know what he does at Marshall. Then moving over to Southern Miss, and then the very next year coming to Memphis, brings in guys through the portal. Quarterback situation, something to keep an eye on. Then a nice little long shot coming out of this conference. I'm going to go all the way down the board to Tulsa. Could Tulsa make a run? Their win total is 5.5. You can get them all the way up to like plus 3,000 to win this conference. Tulsa's going to be a fun team. But if I had to make a pick, I didn't bet anybody to win this conference. It's so up in the air to me. I mean, East Carolina, I think, could make some noise. USF and Brian Hartline. Army's right there. Kind of like them to win 7 games and kind of go under their win total as well. Tulane, we'll see what Will Hall can do. They're always in the mix. We talked about North Texas. We're out on them. Temple, Rice, UAB, Charlotte. I don't think they have a shot. I do like Temple to potentially be a bowl team. But meet, man. Let's go Roadrunners. Roadrunners is our pick to win the American Conference this year. Moving right along. Going to do this quickly because, like I said, we're trying to knock through 6 conferences in an hour. So we're going to keep it moving along. In Mountain West. Mountain West is a conference. We do have 3 win total bets and a conference championship bet to talk about here. This conference has seen some changes, lost quite a few teams out to the Pac-12. They did bring in UTEP, brought in North Dakota State from the FCS, who already a contender in the conference, it looks like. They're 3rd best odds to win this thing. Depending on where you look, they're 2nd. We're up there with New Mexico and UNLV. So who do we have in the Mountain West? Starting off, back to the Surface Academies. Showed them some love this time. We have the Air Force Falcons. Big bounce back season. Back-to-back 4-8 years. Troy Calhoun in his 20th season. Never had 3 straight losing seasons. He's had 2 once. Came back. Had a great third season. And I think he's going to do it again this time. Did lose 3 games last year by 3 points. Our defense was really bad early in the year. Played a little bit better down the stretch. And we bet him over. We got him 6.5, over 6.5 at -160. Another one that's a little pricey. But this line's moved up. I mean, I think it's 7.5 at most books. I don't hate the 7.5 at plus money if you can find that. 6.5, I probably wouldn't touch. I think the best I saw is now it's like minus 180. Still pretty expensive. But I think if you've missed the win total, then I think the next best bet here is them to win the conference. We got it at plus 550, which I believe is still hanging around out there. I think you can still find a plus 550 at a couple books. But Liam Zark is back. Consistency in the coaching staff with Troy Calhoun, one of the best coaches in the country. Number 2 in this conference in returning production, 59%. Senior fullback Owen Allen, their second leading rusher last year, does return. O-line, they did lose 2 all-conference O-linemen last year. Bring 2 starters back, got 4 seniors on the offensive line overall. Wide receivers, they don't pass the ball a whole lot, but they brought in a bunch of transfers. No receivers with prior starting experience, but hey, they're going to run the ball. Defense, 75% returning production on defense. So we did say defense was not great last year. Gave up 33 points a game, over 450 yards per game. But in the last 6 games, they gave up 21 points or less in 5 of 6. So like I said, they improved. And 75% production back, 6 starters on defense. Got an all Mountain West linebacker, their safety. Got to replace a few folks in the D-line. But overall, the defense played better. They're going to continue that momentum into this season. In the schedule, schedule's not terrible. Open up against FCS Duquesne. How about Duquesne traveling out to Air Force to start off the season? That's an interesting game. They do get North Dakota State, the newcomer to FCS, at home. Love that. Later in the season, they got UConn at home. So another solid non-con game there. Some interesting, tricky road spot. All these road spots in the Mountain West are tricky, but for these teams who already do play at elevation, it's not too bad. I mean, at Nevada, it's winnable. At NIU, should win. At Wyoming, definitely winnable. A couple tough road spots too. They did go out. That's got to go to Army and to New Mexico. New Mexico's a contender in this conference. The other out-of-conference game is Navy at Navy. No, sorry. They get Navy at home, which is huge in the non-con. UNLV at home. And then they finish up at San Jose State and UTEP. So 2 more winnable games there. So 7 wins. 7 wins is on the path here. They definitely have a path to 7 wins. Maybe 8. They're really rolling 9, and they're going to be playing for a Mountain West championship. Love the Falcons this year, over 6.5 and plus 550 to win this conference. Continuing in the Mountain West, another juicy plus money over that I really love here. So I got Nevada, Wolfpack, over 4.5 at plus 130. I think there might be still a couple plus money numbers out here. Not plus 130, but I think there might be a plus 110 or so, plus 115. You still might be able to grab on Nevada. But Jeff Choate comes in, entering his 3rd year. 6-19, not great. Did bring in a new OC, trying to switch up the offense, try to get something going here. Brett Bartolone, who coached under Deion Sanders at both Jackson State and Colorado, switching it up to more of a spread, air raid type offense, a little more QB friendly. QB battle going on here. We got Carter Jones, a sophomore, played a little bit last year, and then they have a junior transfer from UCLA, Luke Duncan, battling for the starting spot. But we'll see who comes out of that. And running backs, a return junior Herschel Turner, 5.1 yards a carry last year. Another sophomore, Dominic Kelly, got 3 offensive line starters coming back, 2 starting transfers, or 2 transfers with starting experience. Wide receiver is going to be interesting for a team who is going to want to throw the ball a little bit more under Brett Bartolone's offense. They're going to have to rely on a unit full of transfers. Defense is going to be good once again this year. Got an NFL prospect, senior Dylan LaBarbera, back in the D line, pass rusher. E.J. Smith at linebacker, cornerback Aiden Walker, 2 guys who are projected to be all Mountain West this year. But still, it comes down to they need to be a bowl team, which is going to be tricky. But to be a bowl team, definitely going to have to improve in the passing game. This new offense is going to hit. One of these 2 quarterbacks is going to come out and have to play really well. But the schedule lines up nice for them to hit this at least 5 wins, potentially compete for 6 in a bowl game. So they got Western Kentucky coming into town. They're 3-point dogs in that game right now, but I think that's very winnable. Western Kentucky traveling all the way out. A little down on them this year. That should be a win. Montana State, last year's FCS champ, also coming into town. So tricky. If you want to play an FCS team, that's probably not the one you want to choose. But hey, then they got to go to Middle Tennessee, who is a very winnable game. In the conference, they got Air Force, San Jose State, New Mexico, and Hawaii, all at home. So 2 of the contenders at home, Hawaii off the island at home, San Jose State, not good this year, should win that game. So I think they can win. I think they can beat Hawaii. They can beat San Jose State. Road games at UTEP, that's winnable. North Dakota State, FCS team, contender in this conference. That'll be a tough spot going up to the Fargo Dome. Got to go all the way out to DeKalb to play NIU, but NIU's down, should be winnable. And they got to go to Vegas to play UNLV. Tough spot there. And they got UCLA in the middle in the non-con. So the schedule's not great, to be honest. But I think between Western Kentucky, Montana State at home coming off that championship, Middle Tennessee, I think those are 3 wins right there. Then you give me at least San Jose State and UTEP. Also potentially Northern Illinois, Hawaii at home. Maybe they pick off Air Force or New Mexico. Probably not, but hey, home spot, they can win one of those 2. And then they're not going to beat UCLA on the road in the non-con in the middle of the season. But hey, path to a bowl games here. If you're going to be plus 130 for them to win 5 games with a Jeff Choate team who is hitting his 3rd year. It's the best team he's had so far in these 3 years. I think we can get there. Because right now for this over, I feel I'm giving them a 52% chance to get to 5 wins this year. That's minus 109. I'm getting plus 130. Take it every time. Last but not least in the Mountain West, who hate doing this. Another team that I don't like to bet against, but I got to do it this year. The Hawaii Rainbows. We're going under 7.5. Another pricey one at minus 150. Team that had a great year last year, 8-4, 9-4 overall. We all remember the Christmas Eve game, the Hawaii Bowl, that overtime thriller. If you're like me and you bet Hawaii, what a game, what a sweat. Beating Cal in that game. Luke Weaver comes in, who's now at San Jose State. Comes in as the hero. They pull off the upset there. Micah Alejado, he's back. Banged up quite a bit last year. That worries me. And they don't have a backup like Luke Weaver anymore. They had a pretty average defense in the Mountain West last year. They're ranked 6th in the Mountain West. Only returned 3 starters on defense, 37% returning production. Biggest weakness in this team is going to be the secondary. O-line should be okay. Probably average to bottom half of the conference. 3 seniors back in this O-line. 2 starters back. Really talented receiver group, like always. 1 starting receiver back, but the group's solid overall. Another big weakness at running back. They did return senior running back Cam Barfield. Overall, this team just lacks depth. And we know the injury history of Micah Alejado. He goes down, they're going to be in trouble. Another big fact here is they did lose their kicker, the Tokyo Toe, Kansei Matsuzawa, who's in the NFL now, playing for the Raiders, I believe. Huge loss. He was a hero in a couple games last year. Then the schedule. So the non-con stuff, they got to play at Stanford, at Arizona State. Your dogs against Stanford. Imagine they're going to be a significant dog against Arizona State as well. They got 2 winnable non-con. They got Mexico State and Sac State coming to the island. The good news is they do have the top 3 contenders in the conference. UNLV, New Mexico, North Dakota State, all at home. San Jose State at home. So let's see here. They probably drop. I'm projecting them to drop both the non-con road games, Stanford, Arizona State. I think they can beat San Jose State at home. And let's say they knock off one of UNLV, New Mexico, North Dakota State. Crazy things happen on the island. Maybe they win 2 of those, most likely 1. So that gives me, 4 wins right there. They need to get to 8 to hit this over. Where are the other 4 wins coming from? There's 6 road games. They're going to have to win 4 or 6 of these road games. That's either one of the 2 non-cons at Stanford or at Arizona State. They're going to have to go win either at Wyoming, at Northern Illinois, which is a road trip right after they played New Mexico, at UTEP, which they could go in and beat UTEP, or they have to go to Nevada. We just talked about how we like Nevada, and they have to go to Nevada right after they play North Dakota State on the island. So tough schedule. I mean, ceiling here to me is 7 games. It's going to be a bowl team. I mean, just the quarterback alone. If Micah Alejado stays healthy, they'll be a 6-win bowl team. But yeah, give me the under 7.5. This team's not winning any games. That does it for the Mountain West. Who we got winning this conference? We talked about we like Air Force. They're going to be we'll call them a long shot since they're the fourth favorite in this conference right now. But realistically, 100% going with New Mexico. Mexico's our team here. Jason Eck in the second year. These guys went 9-4 last year. Was on the verge of playing in a conference championship game. They lost some crazy tiebreaker and didn't make it. But yeah, this team's going to be solid. I think this is the best team in the conference, best coach team in the conference, maybe outside of Air Force and Troy Calhoun. But yeah, give us New Mexico to win this conference, and give us Air Force as our long shot sleeper team here. Moving on. We're going to go to the Sun Belt, where we have one bet in the Sun Belt. And let's start off with the odds here for this conference. So JMU, after a playoff appearance last year, they were the conference champs. They are the favorite once again to win this conference. Did lose Bob Chesney to UCLA. Alonzo Barnett went down to UCF. But they got dudes. They always have dudes. Billy Napier's back in the Sun Belt. Former Florida coach. So they're going to be solid at head coach. James Madison, rightfully the front runner to win this conference. ODU off a big season last year as well. Second favorite. Did lose Colton Joseph, but still under Ricky Ronnie. Should be a pretty solid team here competing for this title. Louisiana, Troy, Marshall, who we'll talk about here in a second, is a team I like as a sleeper dark horse. So you can get over 11 plus 1,100 right now. Further down the line, don't really like anybody else at the bottom of this conference, to be honest with you. I'm out on Law Tech, who's new to the Sun Belt. Arkansas State, nah. South Alabama, App State, Georgia Southern, Coastal, Southern Miss, ULM, and Georgia State. So outside of my tier right here, there's 5 teams who I believe could potentially win this conference: JMU, ODU, Louisiana, Troy, and Marshall. Outside of that, bottom of the Sun Belt is a couple bowl teams. If we see Southern make it back to a bowl, Southern Miss, ULM, Georgia State, all going to be pretty bad, fighting for 3-4 wins max. Maybe App State can get back to a bowl. Major Applewhite in South Alabama, Butch Jones in Arkansas State, Louisiana Tech coming over from Conference USA. We'll see what they can do. Sonny Cumbie's team could be a 6-win team, but hey, five legitimate contenders to me in the Sun Belt. We're going with James Madison to repeat, and we also have we'll talk about our one bet in this conference right now, the Marshall Thundering Herd. So the bet I made over 7.5, and I got that at plus 125. So I'm projecting the Thundering Herd right now to win almost 8 games, 7.9 and some change. I got them at true odds of about minus 137 to hit this over. And I'm getting plus 125. I'm getting some plus money here for this team to win 8 games. And we'll talk about the schedule here in a second, but the path is there for them to not only win 8 games, but also make an appearance in the conference championship. So Tony Gibson enters his second year. Complete rebuild last year after Charles Huff left for Southern Miss off a 10-win season. And Gibson exceeded expectations. Everyone was down on Marshall last year. They didn't quite make a bowl game, but still won 5 games, which is what they hit the over. I think the win total was at 4.5, I want to say. They'd lose 3 games by 3 points or less and 1 loss by 5. They bring back a senior QB, Carlos Del Rio Wilson. 61% total returning production on offense. Best overall in the conference on offense. Offense is going to be legit. 2 senior O-linemen back, 2 wide receivers back. They're starting tight end. The questions are going to come from the defense. They did rehire Brad Lambert, longtime DC, journeyman DC, former head coach of Charlotte back in the 2010s-ish. But brought in a ton of transfers. Only 31% returning production back on a very, I won't say terrible defense, but they weren't good by any means. So for them to really make a run, the offense is only going to carry them so far. They're going to need to get some consistency on defense. They're going to need to get some stops. But look at the schedule though. So start off at Penn State. They're going to go into a new look Penn State team too. They need to go into Penn State and put up a fight here. Keep this game semi-close. I think the spread on this one's 24.5 right now. I'm right there at about 23, 24. So slight lean to Marshall in that one. Then they got Middle Tennessee, Missouri State, Gardner-Webb. 3-1 to start off the season in the non-con. Then they get into conference play. At James Madison. That's going to be biggest game of the year for them. They win that one, they're off and running. They got a path. Because the rest of the schedule, they got Coastal and South Alabama at home. Both should be wins. Then they got to go to Old Dominion. A team contender in this conference for sure. Winnable game. Definitely. Between the JMU and ODU games, they're going to drop one of those. I think they win one of those, drop one of those. I don't know which one it would be. So that puts me at 3, 5, 6, and 2 right there. Then look at this last 4. At Georgia Southern, App State at home, Georgia State at home, and then they got to go to ULM. So 2 of the worst teams in the conference right there to end the year. And at Georgia Southern could be tricky. Solid squad. And then App State at home. Winnable. So I don't see how this team doesn't get 8 wins. Big improvement from 5-7 last year up to, at minimum, their floor is 8-4. I think they got a shot here to get into the Sun Belt Conference Championship game. You have to beat James Madison, though, in the Sun Belt East to make that championship game. We love Marshall here over 7.5. And that's it for the Sun Belt. So my projected winner in the Sun Belt, James Madison, to go back to back. And my sleeper, if Marshall can knock them off, that 5th game of the year at JMU somehow. I don't think it'll happen. Maybe they'll do it. But I think Marshall could be the team, my sleeper team, at plus 1,100 to win this conference. Here we go. Moving on. We're going to go to the Pac-12. This is the last conference that I actually have a bet in. Got nothing in Conference USA right now. I got one of mine up in the MAC that I haven't fired on yet. So we'll talk those two last because we have 0 plays. But I do got one in the Pac-12. Interesting one. And before we do that, let's dive into the odds here. So Boise State, obviously, perennial contender to make the playoff, moves over from the Mountain West, along with about half these teams in this conference now. But they're the clear favorite, big favorite, plus 135 to plus 170 to win this conference, to repeat as champs. Or sorry, to win, well, yeah, not repeat because they were in the Mountain West. But yeah, to win a conference, again, new conference. San Diego State's up next, 350 to plus 400. Another team who was a tiebreaker away from making the Mountain West Championship last year. Texas State, third favorite at plus 500, plus 550. Fresno State, the Bulldogs, a team we do like, plus 600, plus 650, fourth favorite here. And I think that's the contender tier. Outside of that, Washington State, Utah State, Colorado State, Oregon State, bottom half of the conference. I don't see it, don't see a path. I think this is a 4-team race here. We see 2 of Boise, San Diego State, Texas State, and Fresno State in the conference championship game. And that is why we're going to roll with Fresno State as our team in this conference. So as far as who's going to win the conference and who's going to be the top candidate to make the college football playoff out of the group of 6, it's going to be Boise State. There's no way around it. Best roster, best team, most consistent team. So I think they got the best shot. And the market agrees as well. I think they're plus 500 to make the playoff. I think the next best odds behind them is UNLV at plus 1,000. So we'll go with Boise. And our dark horse, Fresno State. If you want to call them a dark horse, I mean, they're the 4th favorite. You can get them at plus 650 right now. And one thing to call out too, win totals are tricky. Make sure if you're going to bet anything on the Pac-12 in terms of win totals, you got to check your sports books. Some books are counting 12 games, some are counting 11. The Pac-12 do have that interesting flex game at the end of the year. So essentially what's going to happen is there's 4 teams who have home games at the end of the year. They'll be matched up against the other 4 teams in terms of who's closest in record. So, for example, Fresno State. If they are the 4th best team in the conference, then they'll play one of the 4 teams who have road games, whoever has the 4th best record in the conference, or 5th best record in the conference. So basically, they're going to match up these teams based on their records, try to play meaningful competitive games end of the year, boost these teams up, strength of record, all the metrics they need to prove they can make the college football playoff. So it's going to get interesting in Week 12. I like this format, to be honest with you. I think some more conferences, especially in the G6, should adopt this. But given they only have 8 teams, they want to play 8 conference games, they have no choice. So we did bet Fresno State, and we bet them at DraftKings, which is an 11 game schedule. So we bet they're over 6.5. And this was tricky. I went back and forth on this. I would have loved to got a decent number on a 6.5 at one of the 12 game sports books, kind of 12 games to the Pac-12. But price was too high. But I still love the 6.5. I got plus 110. So I got plus money for Fresno State to win 7 of 11 games. I got to go 7-4 going into that last flex game. And in my opinion, they're going to do it. I got them right at 7 in 11 game schedule. So plus 110 at 6.5. Hey, let's do it. So Fresno State, we got 2nd-year head coach Matt Entz. legend in the FCS ranks. This guy went 16-11 at North Dakota State, won 2 natties, a couple semifinals. This guy's a winner. Came into Fresno State, overachieved, went 9-4 in his first year, 8-4 in the regular season, and then had a Arizona Bowl win over Miami, Ohio. But, we got plus 120 on Fresno State at DraftKings. That's a plus 120, not a plus 110. Even better. So I give them 60% chance of going over 6.5 in an 11-game schedule, which seems high. But let's talk about this team overall. So they got two quarterbacks in the mix here. Christian Martin's a transfer from Maryland. Seems to be the front runner, but they also have a guy returning, Jaden Mandel, in the mix as well. Both guys are dual threat QBs, can make some plays. And they lead the Pac-12 in terms of returning production. I think they're third. They have over 50% returning production on both offense and defense. But in terms of returning starts, they lead the Pac-12, 156 returning starts on this team. Returned their top 3 running backs, top 3 wide receivers. Great defense last year. Brought back defensive coordinator Nick Benedetto. Number 1 defense in the Mountain West, 10th nationally in yards per game, 16th in the nation in scoring defense, 2nd in the nation in passing defense. They returned 6 starters on this defense. So you got an 8-4 team, bringing back pretty much the core of this team outside of the QB position, which is a big deal, but they got some talent there in the mix. 2 guys they could throw out there, which is good. Depth. Someone gets hurt, they got a backup, which gives me a little more confidence in a win total. But looking at the schedule, so non-con is pretty solid. They do start off the year at USC. I think they're 30. Oh, man. Got to look at the number there. But they're pretty big dogs against USC. They're going to be big dogs against USC. They do play Sac State as well at home. They go to San Jose State, which should be a win. And they have Rice also in the non-con. So 3-1 non-con schedule there. Boom. That's three wins already. Now we just got to get 4 out of 7 in conference going into that flex game. So road games at Washington State. They can win that. At San Diego State. Tough game. We'll see how the Aztecs are this year. At Utah State, at Texas State. So let's say they split. At Texas State would be a tough game too. And their defense is good enough for them to win that one. I'm not sure how good Texas State's defense is going to be. So let's say they go 2-2. That's 5 wins. Now we just got to win 2 out of 3 of their home games, which is Boise. Tough. They do get them at home, though, which is nice. Then they got Oregon State and Colorado State. So boom, there's 7 wins. That's if they split these road spots, which I think they could win at least 3 out of 4 of these road spots against Washington State, San Diego State, Utah State, and Texas State. Utah State's never an easy place to play. So the road conference schedule's tough. Give them the loss against USC. I think they win at least 2 out of 3 of these home games, most likely Oregon State, Colorado State. And hey, folks, that's 7-4 right there. I think the most likely case is 8-3 going into the flex game. They'll have a home game in the flex game. So potentially San Diego State, it looks like, is the initial projected team that they'll play. So they'll get a rematch there against San Diego State. Should win that. I think this is a 9-3 team. And I think they're playing for a Pac-12 championship. Most likely a rematch against Boise State. So that's the Pac-12. Fresno State over 6.5, 11-game schedule, plus 120. And last 2 conferences, so we don't have any bets right now. Poor Conference USA. Couldn't get there on anything. I will tell you a couple of the bets that are the closest for me, where I do have strong leans on, but just can't get there on the current prices. But just kind of running down the conference favorites here. Liberty, rough year last year. Jamie Chadwell went through some health issues. They went 4-8 last year. And but they're going to bounce back. They're my pick to win this conference. They're going to bounce back in a big way. Win totals at 8.5. I do have them at I got them already 8.5 wins. So the 8.5, depending on where you look, it's about plus money. So decent, slight value to the over, but can get there on that one. If I was going to make a bet on Liberty, it'd just be to win the conference. Get them up to plus 280. And you got Western Kentucky, who I'm a little down on. That's not a team I want to bet to win this conference or even hit their win total, 7.5. Up to plus 400. Jacksonville State. They were in the conference championship game last year. See if they can run it back. They'd lose a few guys, but they got their quarterback back, which is good. Lost Cam Cook to West Virginia and a few old linemen, but they're going to be right in the thick of things. Plus 525. Then you got Delaware, plus 550. Kennesaw State, champs from last year. Win total 6.5. They're at up to plus 1,000. FIU, which could be chippy. So I think there's six teams in the Conference USA who I think could make a run at this championship game. Liberty plus 5 other teams. The bottom of the conference, pretty big drop off after FIU, New Mexico State, Missouri State, Middle Tennessee, and Sam Houston, all with win totals 4.5 or less. So, yeah, 6 contenders. Our pick here is going to be, we're going to go with the favorite on this one, Liberty. Liberty bounces back in a big way. Goes probably at least 9-10 wins for this team. Slight lean to the over. You can find a plus money at a plus number at over 8.5. Not a bad bet. I will tell you a couple of win totals that I'm showing some value on, but just not quite what I want. And one I'm kind of weary of too. First one's Delaware. You can get 6.5 at minus 122 right now. Got them projected around 5.7. So there's some pretty solid value there. I'm very close to pulling the trigger on this one. The problem is I think they get the best QB in the conference with Nick Miniucci. And that's tough to bet against. So we still might get there. I mean, things happen. He could get injured. I mean, we bet on Delaware a few times last year. There's some brutal turnovers. But if I did have a dark horse in this conference outside of the top 3 here, Liberty, Western Kentucky, and Jacksonville State, it probably would be Delaware. Get them at plus 700 to win this conference. I think they at least can make the championship game. But at the same time, also, if you want to bet, this would be a bet where I would bet their ceiling. Bet the long tail here, plus 700 for them to win the conference, but stay away from the win total. 6.5 is not good value at 6.5. FIU's next. I figured the over, but it's also very expensive. There's a 5.5 out there, which I do like. I got them upwards of over 6.5 wins. So 5.5 at minus 182 is showing a little bit of value. It's just so expensive for FIU. Not going to get there on that. Missouri State also the under minus 4.5, minus 170. Very, very expensive. I have them at 3.4 wins. So it's still, I mean, about a win of value, but at the same time, still minus 170. It's pricey. Then Kennesaw, the champs. I got them going under 6.5. Not by much. They're at minus 108. Definitely not a bet I want to be on. But outside of that, I mean, New Mexico State, slight lean to plus money over. Slight lean to the under on Sam Houston State, minus 130. But yeah, nothing in this conference that's really getting me super excited. I love me some CUSA. I can't wait till October to watch some weekday CUSA before we get into November. And the next conference up, we're going to talk about Maction. My favorite conference. being located here in Central Ohio, being a Kent State alum, I do love me some action. Always look forward to November and those weekday games. But with that being said, this conference is year in and year out the most chaotic conference in college football. There's one bet that I really do like that I'm probably going to fire on. I haven't done it yet, but I don't think I can pass up this price. And that's Miami of Ohio. 7.5 at over plus 130. I got him at closer to 8 wins, so pretty solid value there. I just always hate betting win totals in the MAC, but there's no team more consistent in this conference than Miami of Ohio under Chuck Taylor. Or Chuck Martin, sorry. Getting Chuck Taylor, Lance Taylor mixed up. Western Michigan, who is the favorite to once again repeat at plus 300 to plus 420. Then you got Miami of Ohio, get them up to plus 410 right now. Toledo, plus 425. Jason Candle off to UConn. Then Ohio, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Buffalo. I think any one of those 4 teams could be sneaky. I think out of the 4, maybe Eastern Michigan and Buffalo probably be the 2 that I think would be the dark horse contenders to make a run at the MAC championship. Ohio, I'm down on. Toledo, I do like Mike Jacobs coming in here, taking over this team. Really solid record over at Mercer, 94-23. 20-6 the last 2 years. Back-to-back conference titles at Mercer. And, I think the best value on the board in terms of conference championship at plus 425, I think it is Toledo. I'm not running it back with Western Michigan. Although they do have Brock Lowry back. They also got Jordan Buckley back, Jalen Buckley. So 1-2 punch, quarterback, receiver. Defense gives me a little bit of concern for Western Michigan. They lost some talent on the defensive line. And it's just tough to repeat in this conference. So not a route I want to take. Western Michigan as the favorite to repeat. Miami of Ohio, I do like, who has been in, 3 straight conference championship games? Lost to Western last year. Like I said, I do like their over. I do like the way the schedule sets up for them. They got Thomas Gostowski back. They got QB competition. There's 3 guys. Gostowski's the leading candidate as a sophomore incumbent who played well down the stretch. Also got Dave McCollum coming in from Kansas, transfer. Chuck Martin's been around forever. Just so consistent year in and year out. But if there's one bet I'm going to make in this conference, it's going to be Miami of Ohio. And then I may sprinkle on one of these sleepers. Eastern's interesting. I like Noah Kim at quarterback. I like this Eastern Michigan team. Central's going to be tough under Matt Drinkwitz. Ohio's consistent. They'll be a bowl team. I kind of like their under, though, in the win total. You get a plus money, plus 120 under 6.5. My Golden Flashes, could they be sneaky? Drew Shields, he's a baller at quarterback. They could win some games. Love to see him get into a bowl game again. It's been a while, 2021, I think, since 2019 was our last bowl win. Since Sean Lewis left us, I think he went out to Colorado. Now he's at San Diego State. And bottom of the conference, UMass. Ooh, UMass is one I like too. I like UMass over. It's only 2.5. They played 2 FCS teams. Can they beat 2 FCS teams? You got Pop Watson coming in. Can they win 1 conference game? I think so. UMass over is looking nice. I mentioned Ohio Buffalo over 5.5 and minus 144 is looking pretty solid. Western Michigan under minus 150 is looking pretty solid, under 7.5. UMass over. Kent State over minus or 3.5 minus 105. Like that. Eastern Michigan over 5.5 at minus 150 is pretty solid. Central Michigan Central Michigan over 6.5 at plus 115. Even though I have them at 6.4, the plus money kind of pushes that one, pushes my lean to the over there. Bowling Green over 4.5 at minus 160. Another one too expensive for me to bet, but that's my lean. Ball State, clear under 3.5 minus 105. They'll be a 2-3 win team this year. Akron slightly under the under 4.5 minus 105. Toledo, I got them right at 7.5, right at the win total. There's no value either way. Maybe slight lean to the under at plus money. And then Sac State, newcomer Sac State in the West Coast. Ooh, it's gonna be interesting just because of the travel. There's some. I don't know what to. I think 4.5 under would be my play, but at the same time, it's like some of these teams traveling out to Sacramento State, them traveling to the east. I don't know what to make of this team. We're just gonna wait and see. They're the lowest value that I have. I got them at right 4.4. No value either way at Sac State. But love me some action. We're gonna pull for Miami to win this one. Sleeper. We're gonna go Eastern Michigan as our sleeper in the MAC. Eastern sleeper. Miami to win this conference plus 410. Eastern plus 1200 as our dark horse team here. And that wraps it up. That's a bummer. I want to keep going. We're 56 minutes in. I want to talk some more G6, but I got through all the conferences already, surprisingly. But hey, folks, we're at the home stretch here. And to be honest with you, like I love doing these conference previews. I love throughout the summer breaking down college football. But at the same time, I am ready. I'm ready for some games to kick off. Week 0 starts what's the date today? Today's August 13th, Thursday, August 13th. This will come out tomorrow. Okay, we do have 2 weeks. August 29th, week 0 kicks off. So we got 2 more weeks. Next week, I think we're going to switch it over. We're going to do an NFL episode. I got to do one NFL preview. Last year I did a couple. This year I'm just so locked into college football. But we do still bet NFL. Not as much, but we do. We do it fairly well, even though it's the most difficult sport and betting market on the planet. We don't discriminate. Thursdays, Sundays, Mondays, now Wednesdays, probably some Fridays. They play almost every day now. But yeah, next week we'll dedicate next week to NFL, and then leading up before week 0 kicks off, we will do one final recap. We'll see if there's any other futures bets we get on in college football. But we'll do a full recap of all of our win total and conference championship, national championship futures, anything we have on the card. We'll go through it all, highlight it, and then we'll break down week 0. Let's see if we have any bets on week 0. There's a couple games I'm eyeing up. Nothing I've fired on yet, but there's some good matchups here in week 0. Got the Dublin game, TCU, North Carolina, USC, San Jose State. That one's pretty gross. NC State and Virginia is going to be good. Florida State and Mexico State. That's disgusting. Hawaii at Stanford. That was a banger last year. Let's see if they run it back. North Dakota State making their FBS debut. Jacksonville State coming to town. That's going to be a great game. Sac State making their MAC debut out of Eastern Michigan. That's going to be fun. And then finishing it up, late night, Memphis at UNLV. Ooh. That's going to have college football playoff implications. First game of the year between those two teams. Could be an elimination game. Memphis are going to lose that game. It's going to be hard for them to make a case the rest of the year to get into the playoff unless they run the table. So yeah, we're pumped for week 0. That does it, folks. Next week, like I said, we'll dive into some NFL. We'll kind of break down our futures card once again. This will be our second NFL episode, third NFL episode this summer. And then we'll dive back into college football and get ready for the start of the college football season. We're pumped. Tired of talking about it. Ready to be about it. Let's do it. Until next time, folks. This is Good Bets, Good Times. See you next week. Cheers.